Hello, everybody. My name is Diana. I'm a web accessibility expert based in Paris, and today I would like to talk to you about RGAA. Most people they heard about web accessibility, WCAG, W3C, and other abbreviations, but they don't know what is RGAA. And even in my headline of my LinkedIn account, I write that I'm WCAG and RGAA certified specialist, and I get a lot of messages asking what it is. So I would really love to explain from the practical point of view, what is it, how I use it, and how to check your website compliance to RGAA if you have French clients. So RGAA is just like WCAG, the guidelines that you need to follow in order to be sure that you're accessible. And if you know, this year in June, we got a European Accessibility Act that came into action, and now in all the countries of European Union, the companies need to provide accessible digital products, whether it's websites, apps, and so on. And for all of the countries, WCAG, web accessibility guidelines created by W3C, they are the basis for web accessibility. But some countries like Germany, Italy, and France, where I am, have on the top of it their own accessibility standard. So we took WCAG as the basis, but then they added on the top of it more precision and the way how they want to see the websites accessible. So basically, it just more rules or precision of how exactly it should be coded, what exactly should be found in different ways on the site. So we will see what exactly it means from the practical point of view. So I will share with you the Excel file that I use when I work on RGAA compliance of the website. So if I get a message from the company saying that, okay, we want to check whether we're accessible for our French clients, I say, okay, so we are going to do it on just the check, or you want to get a detailed feedback about the issues and you want me to work on the issues, or it just for generation of accessibility statement, because sometimes this is the main goal and this is mandatory to have on your website. And that's how the Excel file with which I work look like. So it literally follows all the sections and subsections of official RGAA guidelines. Here is the website. Unfortunately, it's only in French, which I think is a big mistake because many companies, not just in France. I mean, of course, French companies, they speak French and they understand these guidelines, no problems. But many companies worldwide, they sell for French clients. And if you sell for French clients, you have French version of your website, you have to be accessible for the French market according to the French accessibility standards. And that's what we have. So you can take a look and I will share with you the link to these RGA criteria. So we have here 13 sections and inside there are subsections. I heard from many web accessibility specialists that it's easier to work with RGA than WCAG because it's more structurized, and it's true. So it's easier visually, like just like any other person. For me, it's also important to have structurized information. It's not just for people with disabilities, and it's not just one of the criteria to be accessible, but it makes it more readable and easier to understand. And here it's true that it's quite good, and the links they're working, it would be very problematic and surprising if it wouldn't work. But I personally would prefer more color, like to differentiate more the main information. Here, what we have subsections. So with the question, they ask you precisely what should be checked and the way how it should be checked. That's what WCAG doesn't have. So we have step by step what you should find, what you should check, how exactly it should be coded, what precisely should be done in order to write that yes, it's good and it's conforme in French, so that it follows this guideline, so it's accessible for these criteria. That's what we don't have in WCAG. It's more like common recommendations. That's how it's written. So they are very good with explanation and very good at showing how it should be done, for who it's important, and it doesn't have the precision information, the step-by-step rule of what and how it should be checked and how it should be coded. This is very much into depth. We have a lot of examples for WCAG, like we can code it like this, we can code it like this in order to make it accessible. But with RGAA, it's much more strict and precise. You have to follow this line and you step left, step right, and it's not going to be confirmed. So that's how it looks. And as you can see, there are different methodologies. So like there are steps by step. So there is subsection, then there are several subsections inside, and there are different steps that you need to follow in order to check validation. They also show, well, not for this one, but sometimes there are like special rules, because sometimes you cannot follow the methodology depending on what is your website or the activity that you provide. So I will try to find where they have it. Oh, okay. Well, I think here, like here they included in the technical notes. So because for some attributes it can work differently, so they make precision about what can be still find as accessible. We have references to WCAG. This is great, and we can also read it in English, like based on the EN 301549. This is for the European level accessibility standard, and we can really see correlation between them, and we can read, and there are links. So this is great. But for me, there is still a lot of information. And I personally, when I check RGAA, I find that there are a lot of steps, and I find a little bit like it's too much stiff for me, that I need to follow step by step precisely. For some people, it's easier. It depends also on the mindset and how you work. But for me, I find it a little bit harder, because it's much more strict, and you have much higher chance not to be accessible than to be confirmed that you're accessible. So for accessibility purposes, I think it's better, because it takes into consideration much bigger precision. So we most probably will be accessible to bigger amount of people. But it's not so easy for the websites and for those who think that if they're WCAG compliant, it doesn't mean that you are compliant on French territory for French clients. And another thing that I found from practical point of view a little bit complicated is that there are no extensions or automatic tools that can help web accessibility specialist to provide a check. Again, I want to underline that I personally don't think that automatic tools it's a good solution, because too often people they just rely on them and they don't understand what is web accessibility, what is WCAG. They just see the percentage that 80% compliant and they think, oh, so it's good. They don't understand that actually automatic tool just check like around 20%, 30% of all web accessibility criteria. So what you see, it's a small percentage of the bigger picture. And it's only can help as a tool, like a tool to make it faster to check things, just to help with the speed, but you cannot rely on it completely. And I think this is the problem that we get. We just rely on them blindly, and the understanding what it means and understanding on what is web accessibility and whether we're really accessible, it goes away. So I really get a lot of messages to check automatic tools and to provide my opinion about it, but in general, I find that it provides more harm than help. Even though for the accessibility specialist, I would prefer like to have just professional tool that is accessible only to professionals who already have knowledge of what is web accessibility, what are these criteria, how to use it, what it shows, what it doesn't show, than to everybody. But so here it is, the website. So it doesn't have English version. We don't have automatic tool that can help us. At least I don't know about, maybe there is some solution that people work on right now. But yeah, it's done just by hand, one by one. So what I do, I just go through all of them. I check the website and I write in the section here like whether conforme, or if it's not accessible for these criteria, so non-conforme, or if we cannot apply for these criteria, like for example, some websites, some web pages, they don't have video, or in this case, so we just write an A. Or if we don't have PDF, then we can also write this for the criteria in the section, I believe it's 11 or 13 in the section of RGAA. So that's what I do. And I also write comments. And when you receive such tables, so with all the parameters being checked, that you see what is conforme, what you need to work on, the comments, what you can do. It's whether you're working on all these issues to be sure that you are accessible with your web solution, or you can just take all the comments and you go to accessibility statement, the automatic tool provided by W3C, where you can create, this is in English, so it's like here we can create accessibility statement, and then we need to translate it in French by ourselves. So here it's like, I find that it's very there are different languages, so like RGA doesn't have English version, and accessibility statement here, so we provide it, and then we translate it because it's only in English. So it's always a problem between languages and the translation. But what is important is that you need to show what you work on, what are the current problems of your web page, website, and to show people where there might be a problem with accessibility. This is mandatory by the law, depending on in which country you are, and as at least if you want to make your website accessible for French clients, you have to have it in French, and you need to show what are the issues, which precisely RGA criteria not confirmed, which ones they are not accessible. And then you just save this accessibility statement, and depending on which is your percentage, because sometimes there is just one criteria, but it's really like connected to some, I don't know, programming interface tool that, for example, you embed from another website and it's on your website. So it's like you're not responsible for it, but it's still on your website and you provide it. So you're still responsible that it's not accessible. And for example, if you provide the link to PDF, according to RGAA, even if you're not the one who created this PDF, you need to check accessibility with precise software. And if it has problems, then you have accessibility problem on your website, and you have to mention it in the accessibility statement, because it depends on whether you can write to the person or to the company who created it to change it and to make it accessible. There are many steps and many actions that need to be done, but RGA is very specific and precise about the rules, how it should be done. So I hope that I showed a little bit about how it's done, what is RGAA, and how practically you can do audit. I will send you a link to this Excel table for RGAA check and for the French guidelines as well, but they're in French. Be careful. Hopefully, they will be translated soon. I really hope so, because many companies, they need it and they need understanding of what it means. And please let me know if you need more help or if you are interested to know more about RGA. Thank you. Bye.